Seattle, the Miller American heading out now for Heat 3B in its first encounter with the 7-Eleven. Look at this, Larry Gillespie from the Tempest crew getting the rope unwound from the propeller on the 7-Eleven. Steve Reynolds waiting in the cockpit. Off he goes and is ready to meet the Miller and Company. Now keep in mind, the key here for the 7-Eleven is to get at least a second place, which would be 300 points. They'd have 700 for the day and should make it into the final. So keep an eye on the two turbines. All 5 boats running on the 2.5-mile course. The 7-Eleven with Steve Reynolds. He is in lane number 1. Good position, right where he wants to be. The gun is sounded, and he's got the lead going across the starting line. In lane number 1 is the 7-Eleven. In lane number 4 is the Miller American coming out all the way from lane 4, cutting down to lane number 2 as he has the acceleration and is able to do so. If you have a 5-boat lead, you can cut down the lanes into where you want to go, and in this case, lane number 2. And Steve Reynolds with a fabulous start as he goes down the back chute in first place, but he knows on his outside hip, back there someplace, there he is the Miller American at Chip Hanauer. The Miller American, the 7-Eleven here in first place. Reynolds knows that he's giving up about 1,000 horsepower to the Miller American and the Lycoming 11 turbine engine. Reynolds in first place. There you see from the camera mounted aboard the 7-Eleven, you see what Steve Reynolds sees as he's coming down the main straightaway. Beautiful shot, the left Sponson bouncing along, the spray coming up over the camera. The Miller American moving in a little bit closer now as they come into the south turn for the second time. Lap speed for lap number 1, 127 miles per hour for the 7-Eleven, 124 for the Miller American. These 2 boats running away from the other 3. 7-Eleven, Reynolds still going down the back chute in first place. He knows that Chip Hanauer is back there. And what kind of a game is Chip Hanauer playing? We don't know. As I said, he has 1,000 horsepower more than the 7-Eleven, and he may just be studying his competition, getting ready for the final coming up in the next heat. But the key again for the 7-Eleven here, even though Reynolds is in first place, is to get at least a second place finish, get 300 points, have 700 for the day, and go into the final, run for the gold against the man on his outside hip right now, the Miller American and Chip Hanauer. The battle for second and check that, third and fourth on the outside, Oboy-Oberto, Jerry Hopp out of the Northwest. And on the inside, I believe it's American Speedy Printing. Yes, it is, with Andy Coker. The Domino's Pizza with George Johnson dead in the water. His day is done with 127 points. But Reynolds still holding on to first place as Chip Hanauer comes around the outside. And you can see there he is moving up against Reynolds as they go down the rather quiet waters now of the back chute. They may be quiet, but Reynolds is still getting a lot of air under that boat. Look at that right Sponson fly up into the air again. The Miller American challenging Reynolds now as they go into the north turn. We know how ornery it has been up there, the water very bad, but Reynolds still hugging those buoys, coming around the north turn. And here they come for the straightaway. Reynolds still holding on, but here comes Hanauer. Miller American moving into first place. Speed for the Miller American, 132 miles per hour. He had to break 130 to get past the 7-Eleven. Reynolds at 128 miles per hour. Back to the Oboy-Oberto on the left. American Speedy Printing on the right. The battle for third and fourth place. And of course, points trying to get into that final. Miller American moving into first place. I would not be surprised as you see Steve Reynolds again kissing those buoys. And you see it from Reynolds' eyes that he'll be happy to get at least that second place. Get the points, get into the final, then put in the larger Lycoming engine, and he will be equal in horsepower with the Miller American. 7-Eleven, Reynolds in second place out of Kirkland, Washington. He used to sit in his home on Mercer Island overlooking this course as a child, open up the living room doors, watch it on television, and dream of being a hydroplane driver. But right now, he's in the thick of it. He's in second place in Heat 3B, and they're coming down the main straightaway for the final time. The Miller American and Chip Hanauer. So far, a perfect day. 400 points for Heat 3B. Second place, 7-Eleven, 300 points, and he'll make the final. So this battle goes to the Miller American, but the war is not yet over. They will meet again in the final. Oboy-Oberto, American Speedy Printing, and Domino's Pizza. Those are how the 5 finished. Let's go to the pits.
Came up good. Go. Chip Hanauer, your first cavitation. Now with the other turbine, the 711, did you learn anything?
Not really. We wanted to make just a real clean start, and actually we were going to be satisfied to finish second. We didn't want to hurt anything, and I just kind of followed him for a while and saw, if I could catch him fairly easily. And it wasn't too hard, so I just kind of took my time, and but I'm sure they'll go back to the big motor now, and they'll be tougher in the final.
How much time we got?
About an hour.
About an hour? Excellent.
That's Fred Doobie, a hydroplane builder years ago back in Detroit. Look at Bernie Little still helping the 711 crew, trying to make sure that everything's all right with that right sponson. Looks like it's okay. We'll return with a Champ Boat Series update after this.